do you feel like you do, like some people talk about how they start with traditional school type of thing and then they segue into more of like a flexible type of model for themselves at home? What does your schooling look like?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's definitely evolved over the last couple of years. I would say one thing that has been so amazing about this journey is I've learned a lot about myself in this process, right? It's been if I don't want to like put myself on a pedestal, but I feel like I've really blossomed because I've just loved it. And I've been able to try things and feel like I have the freedom to do it. Even when I like worked in a classroom as a teacher, you still have to do things very right
Mm-hmm.
ways. And I remember sometimes when I would write curriculum plans, I'm like, I don't want to do a certain activity because that would take so much time. And I don't know if it would be okay, or there was just limitations. And when I first started homeschooling, there's definitely kind of that fear that you go through, like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm homeschooling 5 days a week and kind of mimicking and following that same school schedule. And then I just kind of really quickly realized, like, the first couple of days, I set my alarm at like 6 a.m. to make sure I got up and got ready and got everything prepped. And then like a couple days later, I was like, I don't need to do all this. I can be a little bit more relaxed, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
did homeschool 5 days a week for the first year. I feel like the first year to 2 years was a little different than maybe I would have originally. I don't know, just because it was COVID. I wasn't really looking for like co-ops or groups or things like that because everything was pretty much shut down and we were just all kind of like, surviving in education together. But as I just slowly became more comfortable with things, I was able to let go of some of those kind of like preconceived notions of what I
Yes.
was worried about in homeschool or what I wanted to do differently, and start exploring with that and just kind of being able to be creative with it. And then also combined with the fact that I could do it differently with each of my kids. Like, it was really fun to kind of experiment, see how the twins kind of learned, whether they learned better together or whether they learned better separate, or if we needed to do more hands-on activities, or if they, preferred different types of learning and things like that. And then as I've introduced my boys, I feel like things were totally different with them. Right. They were like, I felt like I was like kind of learning all over again. One of the pieces of advice that I always love to share with new homeschool moms is it's very much like having a baby, like right about the time you figure out how to either nurse or use a bottle, and you finally feel really comfortable with that, then they're eating solids and they're putting food all over your face and you're worried about like the thickness of the food you're giving them, and everything changes, right? And so you kind of have to like adjust to these different stages that your kids go through. And I definitely felt like that. Like, I felt like I was like getting it down really well with my girls. And then my boys they just learn a little bit differently. My next son was different than my girls and he has different talents. And so, I'm still discovering those every single day. And again, that's one of the things I love about it is I feel like I really know my kids. I see different sides of them that I don't know if they would have ever saw if they were gone all day and somebody else was kind of working through some of the things that, we do at home together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been such a joy. At this point and this style, I'm very eclectic in what I use. I love pulling from everything. I started with the good and the beautiful. I still love using them because it makes it really easy. But instead of following the lessons maybe as rigid as I did in the beginning, I love to just kind of take the lesson off the page and bring in other books or assignments or things, just kind of use it as a guide to help me, as well as some of the other curriculums that we pull from. We love using literature. That's a big part in our homeschool. My older girls love to read, and so we bring in lots of books and activities. And then, this year I feel like we're excited to do more art this year and be more creative in some of the things that we've been doing. So that's more what we've been focusing on this year, and that's the beauty of it. I have one son who absolutely loves Legos and engineering, and he just really thrives building, and we can give him lots of opportunities to do that and let him just experiment. He also draws a ton, and so he draws almost every single day, and we just let him be creative. We try to kind of, I feel like kids, their interests can kind of change quickly at this age, but if it's something that we kind of see reoccurringly happen, we like to provide those opportunities for them and give them some materials to explore those interests and see if that's something that they want to continue to learn, and develop a passion for.